It's more than 4,500 kilometers long, and some 65 million people in 6 countries depend on it for food. And of course, we're talking about the Mekong River, which is set to become a power source for Southeast Asia with the construction of a massive hydropower dam.
But not everyone is happy about the project. Environmentalists are concerned about its effects on the river's ecosystem and villagers' lives. I spoke to reporter Mony Say in Cambodia about the project.
People who are depending on fishing and farming, along the river, they fear that their livelihood will be affected if the dam is to be constructed as scheduled. This river is one of the main tributaries of the Mekong system as a whole, and because the fish migrate, through the river up and down this important tributary. So not only the fish, but also forest products. Because when the dam is built, it will flood a large area of forest that people depend on.
Thousands of people in Stung Treng province are about to be uprooted. They live along the Sason River, a tributary of the Mekong and the future site of a hydroelectric dam. Villagers have protested the project, a joint venture between Cambodia, China, and Vietnam.
After the approval, the people living along the river are worried about resettlement. We do not want to move to a new location because it is difficult for us to start a new life with a new rice field and new planting.
The protesters want the government to put off construction to study the full environmental impact of the dam. A report by the U.S. National Academy of Sciences also called for a reassessment. It warned that the planned dam development in the Mekong River basin could have catastrophic impacts on the river's fish and biodiversity.
And what are the government's answers to these concerns? Who does the government say this dam will benefit?
Well, of course, the government so far said not only the people outside of this province, that is Stung Treng province, benefit, but also some local people who can get jobs from the companies. But most importantly, the government said it benefits the whole nation, as the country badly needs the electricity, because now it needs to import the power from the neighboring countries like Thailand and Vietnam.
And what's going to happen to these people who live in the area where the dam is being built?
There's a huge area that is reserved for the reservoir of the dam. Thousands of families are to be removed from the reservoir area to pave the way for the dam construction.
Is there any chance that the project won't go forward, that these people's voices against it will have some kind of effect?
It looks very unlikely that the dam is to be stopped or delayed,
Environmentalists believe this dam alone will adversely affect up to 100,000 people, not just their fisheries, but the rice and vegetables they grow. Villagers see no economic benefit for themselves.
The growth is just for those big guys in the city, but the people here have nothing. It benefits only the urban people, not the rural ones.
The government says environmental issues will be addressed.
And what about the cost of this? Who's footing the bill?
According to an estimate, it would cost more than $780 million. But of course, it's a joint venture between the 3 countries, but the one who pay the most is Cambodian company, which is owned by Cambodian tycoon here.
And our thanks to reporter Mony Say in Phnom Penh. The Sason River Dam is one of 20 dams currently underway in Cambodia, most of these with help from Chinese companies.